Stallion staggered back. "No way, lady! Not a chance in hay!" He stammered as he furiously backpedaled. I gasped in shock as I tried to corner him, my more primitive and lustful side taking over. "Are you serious? Am I not good enough for you or something?" I scowled as I turned around and waved my rear at him in plain view for his eyes to gaze upon. I felt my cunt twitch as I burned for the need to have him stuff me. "Yeah, I can't. Vance Pants would have me buried alive," the stallion gasped. He wasn't even that attractive. He was turning me down? When I say not attractive, I mean hideous. He was scrawny, pale white. His fur was goddess awful and ragged, and he had a severe case of acne. I spun around and grabbed him by the collar of his jacket. "You're going to rut me, or so help me, Celestia, I'm going to rut you." I scowled, not having any control on myself whatsoever. I had never had the problem with heat before. Vance Pants had always been home when I entered my heat cycle, and had always satisfied my lustful needs. "Please don't hurt me." The stallion sobbed as he began to cry. His sudden emotional outbreak snapped me back to reality. What was I doing? I was about to rape a poor innocent young stallion. "I'm so sorry. Please don't tell any pony," I whispered, then quickly galloped out of the alleyway where I had chased him down. I looked both ways on the street and chose to go right. I fled the scene and made for some place convenient that wouldn't at all be any sort of way arousing. As I rounded the corner, I spotted a donut store and quickly decided it was a good place to cool down. A bunch of slobs and eating pastries sounded like a huge turnoff. I slowed my pace to a slow trot and entered the donut shop, which was actually empty, minus the owner, who stood behind the counter. I shrugged, figuring it still was a fine place to cool down. I sat down across from him and smiled at him. He returned the smile, though without the same enthusiasm that I had. "Afternoon, ma'am. What can I get you?" he asked, and I shook my hoof. "Oh, nothing, thank you. Just needed some place to cool down," I told him. "Oh, no. Well, in that case," he said, and trotted over to the air conditioner, then cranked it. The air conditioner hummed and began to spit out chilly cold air that sent shivers down my back. "Not exactly what I had in mind, but thank you. It is rather hot out, don't you think?" I asked, and the owner simply shrugged. "Joe, I think his name was. Fleur de Lis, Fleur de Lis, but you may call me Fleur." I told him, and he nodded. "Joe, but, you can call me Joe, if you want," he told me as he extended his hoof to greet me. I had met him before, but he was something of a klutz. "Well, Joe, it is a pleasure to meet you," I told him with a genuine smile. He gulped shyly and blushed. "Pleasure's all mine, ma'am. I assure you, he said very timidly. He began to converse with little things, then I felt a burn of passion return to the crevice between my legs. The smell of my arousal filled the air, and he sniffed suddenly. "You smell that? It smells like—" he began. "Buck," I whispered under my breath, and he raised an eyebrow from the comment. "What's that?" "Oh, nothing. Just saying how Chuck was talking about—" I trailed off as I tried to think of a convenient lie. "Bucking," I said, and he raised a worried eyebrow. "Trees," I told him, and he looked both ways with unease. "Apple trees. He was apple bucking," I told him, and the statement made Joe relax. But the sudden arousal wouldn't leave my loins, and I squeezed my eyes shut and tried to force away the pleasure. "Was something wrong?" Joe asked, and I shook my head. "No, nothing," I quickly lied. I secretly slipped my hoof down to my already soaked wet lips and began to rub myself. No pony could see me, since it was only Joe and I, and Joe wouldn't be able to see me from where he was standing. He began to talk about random things, but I found it difficult to concentrate as I pleasured myself. "Oh, Buck, yes," I moaned, and the sudden outburst made Joe gulp. "Excuse me?" he said, and I rolled my eyes as I felt myself lose control again. Oh, God. I literally leapt up onto the counter and waved my twitching cunt in front of his face. "Rut me, Joe. I know you want to," I pleaded, and we gulped. "What? I can't. Vance Pants would have me shut down," Joe gasped, and I rolled my as I tried to press my snatch against his face, but he ducked it and I fell back onto the floor behind the counter. Enough about fancy pants. Stuff your cock inside my pussy and rot me, I ordered him, but he quickly leapt over the counter and rushed into the washroom, locking the door behind him. I suddenly realized that I was losing it again, and had to settle down, or some pony would alert the authorities. And that would be something I really didn't need. I quickly fled the donut shop, and rushed away from it as fast as I could. No pony could rut me. They were all too afraid of what my husband might do to them. I shook my head. I'd need to find some pony more brave and courageous, some pony who wasn't afraid of my husband. Maybe Shining Armor. No, he got married. I cursed to myself when my thoughts were interrupted by a voice calling out to ponies. Hey, man! Wanna buy an apple? Just one bit. What do you say? No? I followed the sound of the voice as I came around the corner. I spotted a large bipedal creature with camouflage fatigues. Oh my god. It was tall, probably standing twice as tall as I did. It was a fairly white complexion to its skin and a brown mane. But what was most curious was how it stood on its hind legs. And those little finger-looking things on its hands that helped it grip the apple. The creature almost looked like a monkey, but had a better posture and was able to talk and didn't have all the body fur. He approached a nearby mare. Hey lady, wanna buy an apple? I'll give you a terrific deal. 2 apples for 1 bit. He offered, but the mare raised her snout and trotted away. I heard him mutter something to himself under his breath, and then approached another pony who was a stallion. Hey, good buddy, good pal, wanna buy an apple? Just 1 bit and you get 3. He offered, but the stallion turned him down and walked away. The creature muttered to himself again. I approached him, but he saw my approach and immediately walked up to me. Hey, pink lady, wanna buy an apple? I'll cut you some slack. 4 apples for just 1 bit, he said excitedly. But I shook my head. He turned away and tried to play his sales with some pony else, and I followed close behind him. Excuse me, I asked, and he turned to me. What exactly are you? I've never seen something quite like yourself before. I asked, and he sighed. I'm an animal. Hey, you want to buy an apple? He asked, but I shook my head again. So, are you related to a monkey, or... I trailed off my question for him to answer, but he didn't give me a very good answer. Yeah, sure, why not? Everything is this messed up world thinks I'm an animal anyways, he said. He told me. I let out a flustered sigh of irritation. I would like to know exactly what you are, I told, and he looked at me and laughed. Well, I'll be damned. Somebody in this stuck-up town who actually gives a shit. Alright, Missy, let me enlighten you. I am a human. Now, do you want an apple, or do you want to keep wasting my time? He asked. His attitude and tone really got me steamed. I'll have you know that I am Miss Fleur de Lis, I exclaimed, and he chuckled. Oh, I know. You're that trophy wife of Fancy Pants, the one who bones when he's in this town. He chuckled, and I gasped. Do not say such insulting things about my husband, I hissed, and he laughed. Okay, how about this? You're the one he ruts while he's in Canterlot, he told me, and I curled my lips in anger. How dare he talk about Fancy Pants in such a way? How dare you speak of my husband in such profanity? I yelled, and he chuckled. What's wrong? The Fancy needs to tell you about a little Cherry Jubilee in Dodge Junction, or Daisy in Manhattan? He laughed, and I raised my voice in anger. My husband would not cheat on me! I yelled, and he laughed again. Whatever you tell yourself to sleep at night. Hey, buddy, want to buy an apple? Yeah, asked Prince Bluebud, who was trotting by. Oh, God, it's a street vendor! Ugh! He gasped in disgust. It made me smile to have some pony talk to this human like that. As Bluebud trotted away in his snooty little ways, I heard the human mutter to himself. No good cock-sucking motherfucking asshole. Stupid prick has a fucking pickle jammed up his ass. That is what his problem is, he muttered to himself. Such profanity! I gasped, and he laughed again. Lady, why are you still here? He asked, and sniffed the air. Oh, that's right. You're not gonna... Yeah, not gonna happen, he said. What's not gonna happen? I'm not fucking you. You think that just because you're high and mighty that someone like me would feel honored to have you wanting me. But I can read you like a book. You're in heat, and no pony will right you. Vance Pants is off to Merivada to bone Lily Cactus while he began, but I cut him off. How did you know? No, he's going to Merivada. I snapped, and he chuckled. I realized that at that moment that this entire marriage had been a lie. Vance Pants just wanted me as a trophy wife, somebody to show off with. I cursed myself not letting him pull wool over my eyes this entire time. Yeah, like I was saying, I ain't gonna fuck you. You're on your own, he said, and then began to try and sell apples again. I apologize for the way I started off. You think we could start again? I am Fleur de Lis, Mrs. Fleur de Lis, but if you'd like you can just call me Fleur, I said with a heavy tone of sorrow in my voice. He looked back to me and sighed as he tossed an apple a few inches into the air with continuousness. While he looked to me, he tossed the apple high up in the air, and without ever taking his gaze from my eyes, caught the apple, then took a crunch out of it. My he mouthed around a bite of the apple, then swallowed. All right then, my name's Dale, he said as he extended his hand.